Good day, beloveds. I'm Kiana. Welcome back to Nourishment 101. I am following up with you on a previous video that I did called Questions That Help You Tap In. I wanted to follow up with you to see if you've been asking the right questions that help you unlock the information that's all around you that you really want to tap into, but because you don't have the right questions, it's hard to pull that out the atmosphere. Remember, we said that everything you need to know is already there, it already exists. All you have to do is ask the right question that unlocks that information. Some of these questions are things that you would never think to ask. And just to give you a recap, in that last video, we talked about asking the question about what is the sun? What is light? What are these things doing when we get into contact with them? Actually, these are new questions, but it's kind of leading off to that. So this is a part 2 of what questions help you tap in. So I do want to kind of help you open up to some information that you may want to know the answers to, but just don't know exactly how to ask. For example, what is sunlight? Sunlight, the answer to this is not going to be simple, so let me just warn you now. But what is sunlight? Sunlight is something that we all need. If you think about it, it helps everything around us grow. Almost everything, right? And there's hardly any places that sunlight cannot reach. Even when you see shade, sunlight still reaches the things in the shade, because sunlight can travel, even though it may not light up a room, it may not be enough to light it up, but it can still travel in that room. And sunlight travels in information. It travels information, right? Information. What travels in a formation to be delivered? DNA, right? DNA has to travel in formation. It has to be delivered in a formation. So what is sunlight? What is this seen but translucent type of energy that's being given to our plants and the trees around us that help them create sugars, which are foods for us? So we have a symbiotic relationship with everything on earth, just about, which means that we work together to help each other live and thrive. And that's a beautiful thing. It doesn't get any more beautiful than that. But ask yourself, if sunlight does this for the plants and the trees around us, what does it do for you? Not only does it give you a beautiful complexion, but it also, that's just the physical result of what is going into your body, because sunlight passes through your skin. And it's not the sun that gives you cancer, my friends. The sun has been around for millennia. It's not the sun that gives you cancer. It's the sun that wants to drag what's causing the cancer out of you. So it brings whatever is toxic already inside the body to the surface of the skin, and as a result it gets stuck in the pores, and that's what causes the cancer, when the toxins get stuck in the pores in the skin and they can't get out, because the skin needs to breathe. But when you put toxic lotions and soaps on the skin, it's hard for the skin to breathe. And so a lot of the things that are trying to come out of the body through the skin, they get stuck in there. And so your skin, know this, is the largest organ on your body. It has a function, and it is to help relieve the body of toxins. So what does the sun really do? What is the sun? The sun moves. It moves without help from any human, any man-made device. It moves all on its own, and so does the moon. So if something moves on its own nature, isn't it alive? Isn't it living? Yes, the sun is living. It's an entity. It is something that is greater than me, something greater than you. It is something that has a higher perspective than you and I. It has a higher perspective than even birds. And birds are known throughout history to have the perspective of a wise or intelligent soul or spirit. So something that has even a higher perspective than that are the sun and the moon. The sun, it delivers light, it delivers energy, and the moon comes out at a time when you're healing, so it's a part of the healing process. These are often in history referred to as gods. Why? Because what would we do without them? Ask yourself these questions. So I really wanted to kind of just see where you are today. I know that this channel is kind of out there for some people, but it does exist for a reason. It exists for people who are ready to go to the next level. I realize that many of us are still stuck because we're still not thinking about reality as it is versus what we've been taught, how we've been taught to see it. So you've been taught to see the sun as just an object. Because you've been taught to see it as just an object, you see it as separate from yourself. You don't see yourself as a part of creation and a part of everything in this symbiotic relationship. You don't see yourself as a part of the earth. And the earth is also an entity. In our last video, we talked about the sun being the earth's soul and us having a soul that connects to the sun. We talked about the sun giving off information as heat, because what do black holes do? First of all, think about the characteristics of a black hole. And if you look at the yin and yang symbol, you'll see that the black hole is on the light part, the white part, right? That's the sun. Surrounded by black is going to be the moon, because the moon comes out at night and it is white. But the true face of the sun is black. And the characteristics of a black hole is that black attracts light and gives it off as heat. It absorbs light. Where's the light coming from that the sun is absorbing? And when it gives this energy off and this information off as heat, who absorbs the most heat? It's going to be certain people who absorb heat and give it off as energy. It's going to be certain people that reflect light and reflect this heat. And this makes everybody on earth different. Even though we're all living organisms, we do have different characteristics and different features. For example, I can only speak for what I've witnessed, which is, how different races hear music differently. They sing and they sound differently. With practice, you can imitate other, natural features in different races that are natural to them, more foreign to you, but with practice, you can imitate anything. But what's natural for certain races are not so natural for others. But you can tell by the way that we move, the way that we look, the way that we hear sound, the way that we express ourselves energetically, the way that we think, not so much as a culture, but genetically speaking. The way that our hair expresses itself, the way that our bodies respond to certain nutrition, to certain chemicals. Not all of us who take the same medication have the same response to it. So things can be engineered to hurt certain races or to help them. That's just the truth about it. And the sun is also, it speaks to all races differently as well. And this is something that is not new. This is something that has been also researched and studied by different foundations who study people with pigmented skin versus people who don't have pigmented skin. They also test different medicines on animals like mice, white mice or pigmented mice, to know how different ones respond to different medications, different diseases. not to divide us here, but just to point out that there are some key differences between us. And so when I say my ancestors, we do have different sets of ancestors, and there are different genetics that are opening up with this sunlight. So the sun is kind of like receptors that are opening up cells, and it's allowing different DNA sequences to express themselves. So light is the key to these DNA sequences coming into expression. And so we need to be out in the sun. We don't need to fear it. We need to be out in the sun because this is helping us open up and tap into some things that have been in our cells, implanted in ourselves from the very beginning. And when we start tapping into that, this information surfaces, and it allows us to see who we are. It allows us to be more creative and to come into our true nature, to get out of the programming that has been going on for so long. And it's time. It's time. I'm here to help you do that. My channel is here to help you do that. And most of all, I just want to help you learn how to tap in on your own. So sit down, write down some questions that you've always wanted to know the answers to, and let's discuss some of those questions. If you are brave enough, put the question down below, and we'll journey through this together, because I'm ready. I'm like so ready. I've been ready, and that's why I've been sent to you, beloveds, because you're ready, and we're trying to get ready together. So as usual, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. If you like this channel, share it with someone else who you think may like it, because some people can't get here on their own. Sometimes they need help, and many of us are searching for answers, but we don't have the right questions. And so I want to help you with those questions. Put your questions below, and let's all raise our vibration together. All right, in love and peace, I am Kiana, and thank you for watching Nourishment 101.